Hey, raindrops, it's Monday. And you know what that means? Another edition of Monday Night Live. And of course, I hope you all had a good weekend. My lips are sealed. So I ain't saying much. Although I did attend a gala with my girl Kelly on Saturday. So you guys saw the pictures. We had a great time. I'll tell more about that later. But I'm so excited because you guys have had so much fun, with me and Dustin and Claudia. So I wanted to, of course, do this all over again. So instead of me recapping my weekend, how about we just recap a few news that's been happening in the world? So first things first, let's bring on our boy, the one, the only Dustin Ross.
What's up, Los? What's up, raindrops? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? And wagwan for my Caribbean community. Wagwan. What's going on, man?
Good. No, everything is fine. How's your weekend?
My weekend was incredible. Heavy in preparation for my show tonight.
Yes.
So yes, it was a great weekend. Just God is good, head down and in the game right now. Yep.
Your head was down?
Okay. Head down. Yep.
Oh.
I had to see. They say you gotta see, you gotta focus on the eyes on the prize.
Like,
and yeah, my head was down like this. It was like this. Just like that.
Okay, Dustin is ahead of the curve.
Yeah, right. Head of the class, baby.
There we go. Good. Well, speaking of which, let's bring on the one, the only lady joining us tonight. The beautiful, incomparable, very talented, and equally shady, the Claudia Jordan.
Yes. I'm already laughing.
Hey, boo.
Hey, how are you? So it seemed like y'all both had some good times this weekend. Like Dustin was looking down at it, saying, "Oh God." Carlos was looking up at it, saying, "Yes," but I'm not going to give you too many details. But you can tell from that glow, he's been getting it in, or it's been getting in him. I don't know. I haven't decided to figure out what is going on. But you are very happy.
You want to know my position so badly, Claudia.
I do.
Let's just say, don't let the voice fool you. I'm teasing. I'm joking. I am not going to.
Oh my God. My weekend was fun. I was in Houston. I'm doing the play, Games Women Play. So my mom actually flew out on Saturday. She came to the show, and it was really fun. And she's with me in Dallas for a couple of days. So we're gonna do some mother-daughter stuff, and she's gonna talk to me like I'm 17 years old and I don't know shit.
Tell her instead of how your mom. First of all, you got your comedy to me from your grandmother. May she rest in peace. You know, she appeared on the show. She was so beautiful and just like hilarious. And your mother is like the opposite, which I think is beautiful because your mother reminds me a lot of Halle Berry's mom. You know, like this very.
How'd she get this daughter? I look at it all the time. I'm like, am I adopted? Like, how did this happen? You know what I mean? Like, we're so different. Dustin, I'm so excited about your show. We definitely wish we could have both been there. Like, but
it's all that I ain't gonna be friends with neither one of you niggas no more because you ain't.
Dustin, please. We love you.
I'm just playing. I love y'all, and I appreciate you even trying. But yes, excited and just feeling like that's where I'm supposed to be right now. I feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm excited.
I have missed you too. So we have a lot to discuss. Claudia is busy. She's on the move. She has shows. So we don't have that much time with the beautiful Claudia Jordan. So we have to dive right into the mess. So listen, over the weekend, it's 2 Atlanta shows where the cast are going at it. So Dustin, I know you're dialed in. Claudia, who has been, in like stage mode, actor mode, I'm going to update you. So long story short, Toya Bush Harris from Married to Medicine did an interview and she was asked about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Long story short, she mentioned that she did not recognize anybody from the show as she was watching it because there was so many fillers and Botox, and she started naming people. Porsha responded, and I'm paraphrasing, but she pretty much addressed the fact that, you know, women should be supporting women, especially Black women who are both in Atlanta, both on Bravo shows, and she's never shaded Married to Medicine. Toya said to her, that's interesting, and talked about the things Porsha did with Kenya, and they were like going at it via Instagram, and all of a sudden it became like Married to Medicine versus Housewives of Atlanta. And I'll start by saying this: is I thought it was one of those things where, and I'm being very honest, and y'all know me, I didn't like seeing two Black shows kind of going at it, because listen, it's one thing to have your opinion about something. I was shocked that Toya made that comment, like shocked, like to really say those things. It's her opinion, but I was surprised. And for me, it's one of those things where they're like the only two Black shows on Bravo at this point. So to sort of have this beef in front of the world, I didn't like seeing it. But Dustin, how do you feel about it?
Well, Simone ass started it. Simone started all this shit on Watch What Happens Live, talking shit like she does. We know that she gets on Watch What Happens Live and says whatever comes to her mind. I think Simone, like I said, Simone started all this shit on Watch What Happens Live when she said that Porsha was the #1 mean girl. She knows Porsha caught all them strays for nothing. It was unless they don't like each other behind the scenes, which is very possible, right? But just speaking as a viewer watching these shows, Simone started that shit. She brought that hater energy into the mix. Toya carried the bone on over into her interview with, who was she with? The two guys, the guys, the same guy, Page Six. That's who it was. The same ones that was interviewing Sweet Tea when she was rapping, looking like a fool. But she was over there in that interview and she started talking shit. I mean, talking shit. The stuff that Toya was saying was like very direct. You know what I mean? She was talking about people's faces, saying they look like Nicki Minaj and all these other people that we know have had surgically altered, you know, appearances, or it seems to be. But I thought that was funny because Toya, what if they said you look like you always smelling something? Every time you see Toya, she, you know, she always look like she's smelling something in the room. Or what if they did that? You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful when you start doing that back and forth shit. And also, it did feel like just a little haters to me. You know what I'm saying? I love Toya, and I love the fact that she don't care. She says what's on her mind. I think she dresses her ass off. She be looking good on Married to Medicine, and she is really the engine that keeps that show alive, to be honest. But I thought she was hating a little bit.
CJ.
Okay, so I think there's, if I'm going to be keeping it very honest, like always, listen, we all say shady stuff in our friend circles. Any one of our group chats that we have, I'm sure someone could find something that could be very offensive to others, very mean girlish. That's what people do amongst friends. So I think there's a conversation to be had when you're doing public appearances and being on platforms. Then there's a conversation you have with your shady friend circle that is trusted, where you don't blow up the spot. I would be a hypocrite to say I've never came for someone's looks or face or plastic surgery or what have you, because I have. You might listen, my group text messages are horrific, but they're with my trusted friends. They're with my peoples. They're with people that I trust. I think when you do put it out there, you kind of you got to take whatever comes with it. It is going to be perceived as mean. Although probably every single one of the people in this conversation, on this show, and in those shows and in that beef, all have equally mean things to say about other people, but it doesn't get out there in public. So when you put it out there on Watch What Happens Live or on Instagram, you gotta be ready for what comes with it. Yeah. I mean, whether what she's saying is true or not, and that's subjective, you know what I'm saying? If you feel that way, fine. If you feel there's a lot of surgery going on, I mean, it's no secret that there is a lot of fillers and stuff happening. Fine. But it's one thing to think it. It's one thing to say it amongst your friends, and it's one thing to put it out there. And once you put it out there, you have to deal with the smoke that comes your way. That's how I look at it.
And Porsha was trying to be like, her initial response to what Toya had to say, it was nice, nasty, but more nice than nasty, right? She ended it with the heart, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, let's all lift each other up. We know it was bullshit because we know how Porsha talks, but at least, you know what I'm saying, she tried to have a little dignity. Toya immediately went there. The first words of her response to Porsha's response were, "Girl, stop," with an exclamation point. And then she started like going in, tagging Kenya and all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So Toya was ready for war, and I just don't know where that was coming from, but it was in.
You know what that
I didn't get it. Go ahead, Claudia.
That sounds like they may have something else going on. You know, you can't stand someone, and then they say that you see an opening, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna take this chance to kind of throw a shot. Maybe there's something that we don't know about between those two. I don't know. I'm just. It's just a theory of mine. I'm just saying maybe, because why would you do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, she literally like went off about the whole show. And who do y'all think she was talking about on the cast?
Well, that's the thing. First of all, listen, Nicki Minaj was good, so I didn't get that. And Toya did say she looks in Dustin. She also tagged Nicki. Because you know the Barbs attacked Toya because they're like, "Are you trying to shade Queen Nicki?" And she was like, "No, I love Nicki Minaj. I wasn't shading her." Then I'm like, Toya,
you kind of were.
I think like Nicki looks great, Toya. I love you, Toya. You look great too, but Nicki looks amazing. But listen, I'm like you too. I'm going to be honest here. We know that sometimes people do things to get the attention for the show. And I think all of this, let's be clear, I think all of this is good publicity for both shows, if I'm being completely honest, just based upon, like Dustin said, Toya has always been a straight shooter. I think what I'm surprised at, Atlanta Housewives has been on for 16 seasons, and Married to Medicine's maybe like 10,
11,
right?
This is their 11th,
11th season, thank you. So all these years, I've never heard the Married to Medicine cast shade Atlanta Housewives. So to say things that isn't the nicest about these women, I do wonder, like, okay, is this all for publicity for both shows? Because we know that Phaedra is on Atlanta Housewives, and we know that they don't like Phaedra anymore. So if you want to shade Phaedra, we got it, because we saw, like to Claudia's point, we were able to see that. We haven't seen anything to where you are really doubling down on this show and then clapping back at Porsha in a very direct way. Dustin's right, Claudia. She said, "Girl, stop." Like, stop. Tag Kenya. And I was like, did Porsha do something to you, Toya, specifically?
She doesn't like that girl. Because that's what you would say to someone. If you like someone, you'd be like, "My bad, dog. Let me call you." You would be like, "Girl, stop." And then tagging Kenya and everybody else is like, you bringing in like reinforcements. She wanted Kenya to probably back her up and say, "Yeah, you did say foul stuff about my body and all kind of stuff." You know what I mean? But you know, do you think, like, I don't know what Married to Medicine's ratings are. Are their ratings, have they slipped as well?
You know, I try not to concern myself with the ratings of these shows. I hate that conversation amongst the fans that don't even know how to really interpret that data and what those numbers even mean. But from what I'm hearing, the show is performing well. I'll
address that. And I'll address that too, as somebody in the business who have shows and who actually receives the data. Okay.
Ooh, he just big dogged us, didn't he?
No, I'm just no. It's not to you two.
For it. I listen.
No, it's not to you two. It's what Dustin said. Let's have a real conversation. When it comes to ratings, and I'm being very honest when I say this, in 2025, ratings are for the fans. The live day ratings. It's for y'all. It's for the fans to clap back on each other, shade the shows. It's for all those things. Ratings that we get as industry insiders, it's not the same that y'all get on Twitter. I'm just being honest with y'all. This isn't 2008. You know, Claudia Jordan joined Atlanta Housewives in 2000, and it was season 7.
14.
What year was that?
14.
I don't know if you know this, Claudia. Season 7's premiere is the highest rated season premiere in Bravo history. Season 7's premiere. It did like 3.8 million, right? You will never see that anymore.
Yeah.
That was because 10 years later, the world doesn't watch television anymore. So there's been this big conversation about Atlanta Housewives premiere ratings being the lowest ever. Let me tell y'all something. If y'all focus on same day for the rest of the history, it will always be low. Because nobody watches TV at 8:00 on a Sunday in front of their couch. And those ratings are not indicative for the success that the networks and producers value the show. What I will say, maybe this is exclusive tea for y'all, I don't know. What I will say is you will see more than likely a release happening based on the performance of Atlanta, because what happens now is you got to add the Peacock numbers, right? Because a lot of people watch the shows on Peacock. I am people. I watch all of the Bravo shows the next day because I'm not at home at that time watching it. And then we have this thing called Live Plus 3. That means live day plus 3 additional days, because that's when people watch the shows and catch up on it. So I say all of that to say, what was released in Atlanta ratings that people are shading does not reflect the show. Give it a couple of days, and I think you may see something released that really indicates what the show did. Maybe it did, who knows? But what I'm saying is, gone are the days of relying on save day ratings. And honestly, it's for the fans. And that's just the honest to God truth.
I want to add to that conversation just a little bit, because this is something like a huge difference. With the landscape of television, we have video on demand change a lot of that, and DVRs.
Yeah,
people are setting their DVRs to record their favorite shows, and they're watching it when they have the time. They don't have no one sits around except the Super Bowl. That's like probably the only events, the Super Bowl, that people watch live television, and they can get these monstrous ratings. But no one's really doing that, like you said. It's people are watching it at their own convenience. So you may have someone watch it 2 weeks later. So that the numbers are definitely skewed. So yeah, I definitely get that. Back in the day, like, I was in my first daily show was Price is Right. That was like 1999. None of that technology existed. We had big old VCR tapes, like these steep tapes. No, so that was way different. So back then, you would get a 5 million viewers watching live at that time, because if they didn't watch it, they're going to miss it. Celebrity Apprentice, Deal or No Deal. I think Deal or No Deal, we had 13 million viewers live. Every night.
Easily.
After 4 years at the end. And so so those days are long gone. People are setting the DVRs and then watch it when they have the time, and they're watching it on their phone. They're not sitting in front of the television. So it's just definitely weird.
Yeah. So guys, it's for y'all, but listen, I'm hearing Atlanta did well. And maybe or maybe not, we're gonna press release, but it's not something that you guys need to run with. But again, y'all gonna do it anyway, and that's your business. I'm always here to state the facts as a journalist. Hey, Porsha. Hey, Claudia Jordan.
Who said that first? Was it her or was it me?
It was.
I think. Wait, who? She said it.
It was Porsha on the season 9 reunion. No, you said
but
it.
I was on season 7.
Yeah, you said it first. You said it first.
Oh, you said as a former journalist.
Yep.
I said it at the reunion, because she was like, you all these fake news and I said, as a former journalist,
I
want my props. That was mine, season 7. I need it on a t-shirt as a former journalist. I am flattered that people use it, especially Carlos. He uses it the most. I love it.
I fucking love it.
Because we were arguing. I said, if you sue me if I'm lying, I said that would be slander. Sue me if you bought that life. Remember that?
Yep.
It was
all of that. Yeah.
Former journalist. Yeah.
Y'all were tearing her ass up at that reunion. Porsha, that was the year she was part-time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was brother. Yeah.
But that was a wild season. That was a wild time.
I know. I sometimes watch that season. I'm like, it's so underrated to me. I think it's a fucking iconic season. The Raja Bob moment with Demetria and Gaucher. It's listen, raindrops or newbies. If you haven't watched season 7 of Atlanta Housewives and you have like days, like on the weekends where you want to, I implore you, watch season 7. Yes. It is so under fucking rated, and you will not be disappointed. Now, what also was not underrated is Porsha laying into Drew's ass. Ooh. And we have to get into it. And Claudia and Dustin, I would love your thoughts on this one. Long story short, what we saw on Sunday night was Porsha confront Drew for working with her baby daddy. Not only working with her baby daddy, Dennis, who is called the Hot Dog King. She pretty much said that Dennis is an angel on earth. And Drew, I love you, but we got to have a real conversation. Drew's explanation is so wild to me because at the end of the day, whether or not you like Porsha, to me, there is a certain girl code when it comes to working with your girl's baby daddy.
Right.
And the fact that being the ambassador of Go Naked, setting up the photo shoot, calling producers to film with this man, and you never once thought, let me actually contact the woman who I'm on the show with to at least give her a heads up. Whether or not she picks up the phone, we have voice note, we have email, we have DoorDash, we have Uber Eats, okay?
We have morals. Let's start there.
Go ahead, Dustin.
I'm just saying, like, Drew's been lying since she came on the show. So this is not a surprise that she's still lying. She lied about kicking it with Ty. She lied about so many things on the show. The whole Tampa story didn't make no damn sense. Her and Ralph been lying the whole time. So that's just what she does. Drew, let's go take it back to the season 15 reunion when they all had those blue dresses on and she sang that song. And she sat on that reunion stage and Candy Burris flat out called her out for lying, and everybody else agreed that Drew just lies all the time. So it didn't surprise me that she was lying and laying it on thick. Drew kind of triggers me personally on this show because she reminded
Roger Bob's name.
Demetria.
He had just brought up Roger Bob's name.
Fuck off. Oh,
you can swear. You can swear.
fuck all that.
Wait.
What's up, Demetria?
Demetria McKinney, everybody.
Yes.
What do, y'all? I gotta borrow her if I can for just a second. She's got to do a sound check because she over here doing a whole nother. Mama keeps a fucking check. She got to come over here and do this sound check right quick so I don't lose my
Okay,
shit.
Demetria, before you go. Hi, baby.
Hi, Bo, what's up?
Okay.
Can I get a 5-minute sound check?
You can, but wait. Can I get one question for Demetria before you go?
Yeah, what's up?
Are you still with Roger Bob?
Look at
That's
her.
what it's not me, it's the raindrops. It's not me, it's the raindrops,
Raindrops,
Demetria. I know the answer. It's the raindrops.
I have not been. I shall not be. Probably never should have been. Hallelujah.
12 years.
A slave.
Oh,
It's good to see y'all.
love you, Demetria.
Go do
Years
your
ago-
sound check, CJ. Come back.
I'll be right back. Sound check.
Okay.
I know this is so ghetto. I'm so sorry, y'all.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so let's talk about you're allegedly calling Drew the morally corrupt Drew Sidora.
She does. She triggers me. She reminds me of people. You know, I grew up in a very organized religion, we'll say that, growing up. And she reminds me of the people who used to sit up in our place of worship, you know what I'm saying, and pretend to be, you know, Christian saints, essentially, and who were fucking sucking, freaking, sneaking, doing, cheating, eating, beating, doing everything you can do under the sun behind all that. And she reminds me of those people. Drew knows exactly why people would take issue or umbrage with her having a relationship with Dennis that she's trying to keep behind the gates, right? Like, that's not proper. And it seems it alludes to you being sneaky. You already been sneaky this whole time. You already been lying. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't translate well to me. And so I don't know who she thinks she's fooling. You know what I'm saying? Thank God I believed what Dennis had to say when Porsha questioned him. Dennis was much more believable than Drew was, you know?
When he pretty much mentioned that he was just trying to help her,
right,
and that they have nothing romantic involved.
He was clear. Drew starts talking about Dennis being her angel on earth and all of this stuff. And even Angela Oakley in that scene, you can hear her say, Drew, that don't sound right. Like, what is she doing? What is she talking about? And so, yeah, that's just where I'm at with it. Drew has never been believable. I think Drew Sidora is stunningly beautiful. I think she's a great actor, and I think she has a beautiful singing voice, but she be lying on this show. You know what I'm saying? She does. Yeah.
Well, the thing, right? Well,
she does. She be straight up lying. And Carlos, did you peep? Porsha took that play right out of Nene's playbook from the season 5 reunion when she told Phaedra, you never can win when you dirty, and brought up Phaedra trying to film with Nene's half sisters behind her back on the show. Remember that moment on the couch?
Of course I do.
That was exactly, Porsha even used the same phrasing. She said, we all work on this show together. Nene said that to Phaedra. She's like, dude, that's like me sitting up trying to film with your mama or your sisters or your whatever. Porsha said the same thing to her. She said, we all work on this show together and we have our support systems and stuff. She said, you did something low down and dirty. Exactly what Nene told Phaedra. It was a straight up, play out the playbook, out the Nene playbook. It was homage, right?
Not homage.
That's what it was. It was homage.
Were they friends? Was Drew? Drew and Porsha used to be real cool, right? But they're not. They definitely strained now, right? But
yeah.
When that was happening, like if we're cool at the time and you're doing that, then bitch, we got problems, right?
Mm-hmm. So to answer your question. At the time of her working with Dennis, they were cool. Yes. At that time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I like Drew. We just did a movie together. Check out Run in theaters this June. But girl, cousin, we have the same last name. Her real last name is Jordan. Cousin, I got to tell you, that is a little shady. It is shady. Unless you can tell us there was some other behind the scenes stuff that we don't know that made you be like, fuck it, I don't care. She did this to me. I think that is definitely, I would be mad if you filmed with my people and didn't tell me, for sure. Absolutely.
And stop acting shocked like you can't believe. I hate it when people do that. What? Oh no, like you can't believe what we talking about. You know exactly why people saying what they saying. You know exactly what the optics of that shit are. So stop pretending like you so shocked that the accusation would even be made. And oh my God.
Reading her face when that was happening, because I feel like I do read people for, like, I do that.
You do, and you're good at it. Go ahead.
Thank you. It looked like she knew it was foul because she had like a half kind of smile on her face, like, what? Like that, to me, that is someone that knows it. But either they were like, I don't care because I don't really rock with you, or, but this is still going to be good TV and I don't really care. But she knows, like, that's what I think. That's exactly, I think she did it. Listen, you got to be honest about this. Drew has been dragged on that show. So I think anytime she feels that she can get what she may think is a win or a get back or whatever, I think she's going to take it. And I think she was like, oh, well, like, this is good TV. She kind of had a smirk that Kenya used to have sometimes.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, but we're also talking about the same person who sat on the reunion stage in season 13 and interrupted the conversation to pray before they went any further because they were talking about the spiritual advisor dating LaToya Forever, who was on the show. So to me, like, you don't go from this saint woman who wants to pray on a damn reunion stage for the Real Housewives of Atlanta to now somebody who was dating Mimi's ex-girlfriend and wasn't honest about that, and then it's
allegedly,
right?
Cousin.
They talked about it on the show, so this ain't no shit I'm bringing to you know what I'm saying. Like they talked about
throw it in there.
So like, you can't. It's just, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, just show up as your true self. That's all I'm saying. Like, show up as yourself and stop lying about shit. And then maybe people will give you a little bit more credence when situations like this happen. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it ain't looking good for her.
Do a lot of them lie for the show?
If they do, we don't know.
Do a lot of them lie about the show?
Yes.
I mean, from what I remember, due dates, religious backgrounds, criminal backgrounds, who you really messing with. Thank you.
It's
all kind of stuff.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I just feel like a lot of them lie. Not that it makes it right, because I don't, but I you know what I hate, and Dustin, you probably feeling, especially being an Aries. Actually, Libra too. If you're showing up, giving your all with the truth, and the next person is allowed to lie their way through their storylines or their stuff, it does piss me off. And no matter who it is, this isn't just about Drew. This is about everyone in reality TV. I hate when I feel like, well, shit, I could have lied too, and I could have had a crazy storyline, but I'm over here being dumb enough to actually give you my real, because I thought this was reality, not acting. If you want to do the acting, take your ass over to Tyler Perry Studios and go do that. But over here in reality, I would think, be more. I feel like a lot of people have trouble like letting go and being really authentic and being vulnerable. So they create some other shit, or they do little shit that they don't really do in their real life. And that's what pisses me off.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's unfortunately happening at a pace to where it's the norm, and that's the crazy part about it. It's the birth of Mia be lying, you know. It's Drew be lying. I love Drew, we all do. However, we're calling it like we see it. I'm with Claudia too, and obviously Dustin is you as well. When it comes to look, when I watched that, to me, I felt like Drew needed a storyline. And she knew what it was. I don't think Drew is that naive.
She knows.
On any day with a man in Florida allegedly doing what he was doing, I think Drew knew exactly what was going to happen. I think Drew tried to play the card of naivete. I think Porsha also knew exactly what time it was too when she came in there looking amazing and read her for filth. And Angela Oakley, to me, I agree with Dustin. Angela Oakley, to me, was the MVP in the scene because the reason why the three of us are friends, and me and Claudia spoke about how me and her would get into disagreements because at the end of the day, when you are really friends with somebody, you call them out on things that you feel like how you feel,
and that's okay.
And it's okay. You move past it. So for me, Angela Oakley was like, Drew, I like you, you're my girl, but that don't sound right because it didn't sound right. And even the point where your contact, Drew, even if I found a little inch of like, well, maybe I can at least have her back here. You lost me, Drew, on some real shit, dog, when you contacted producers to get Porsha's baby daddy to film. That's fucked up. And at the end of the day, if Porsha wasn't your friend, cool. If Porsha did not make you the ambassador of Go Naked, cool. But it's the fact that all these things happened. Y'all were friends at this time. It's not some jump off she had 2 seasons ago. This is the father of her daughter. And the fact that you're working with Dennis because he wants to be a producer, this is Atlanta. There's Jazzy Faye down the street. There's Jermaine Dupri, who's expensive. But there's all these other people you could have worked with. I don't think the excuse makes any sense. And when you call him an angel on earth.
She was trying to push buttons with that. That's pushing buttons. That's pushing buttons.
She knew exactly what she's doing. Drew's been in the game too long. She's been a celebrity and she's been a celebrity for a very long time. And she's aware of the rules of engagement. She's aware. And this is her she came on in 13. So 13, 14, 15. This is her 4th season on the show. So she's very well aware of the space that she occupies as a housewife. She knew what buttons to push. And that's exactly what she did. She looked great, though. I will say that. In that season premiere, every time you saw Drew, she looked beautiful.
She's a pretty girl.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
You know where else she tried it? And Drew and I have talked since we did the movie. And she actually wants me to come down there. Like, I might do a scene or something with her.
You should.
I will ask her some stuff. And I'm actually hit her up before I'm gonna hit her up and talk to her about this. But this is when Drew tried it, and this is that smirk she had. She had that Kenya smirk. Like, I know I'm doing this for the scene, and it's gonna work. They're gonna be talking about this. When she said, "I gave everyone's number to my assistant to call y'all to," oh girl, she big time. Like, I gave it to my assistant, and my assistant I guess they didn't reach out, and only Dennis is there. Like, to me, Drew, you fucking tried it. I thought it was funny, but you tried it. And I was one of your friends. I'm like, do not have your assistant. You better text me the same time you took to text your assistant my number. You could have texted me. But that's when she was, again, go back and look at the episode and look at the smirk. When people talk like that, they're puppeteering. I don't know. That's what I read from her face. That's what I read from her face.
You could tell. So what did she say? She was like, well, let me clear it up for you. She was real measured, and she was like, let me clear it up for you. It's very simple. He came along. I opened up for Tamar Braxton. And
drop the name.
Name drop. Claudia. Name drop. Go ahead, Justin.
Well, I was working on a big show that you guys could never do.
Yeah. And they wanted me to host the official after party. And he gave me a very professional pitch about working on my music. And I was like, Drew, you know exactly what you're doing. This shit ain't helping. You're not explaining nothing away. You're fucking with Porsha right now. That's what you're
that
doing.
was for Porsha.
You're
Because
fucking
Porsha wanted to be a singer too, and then Drew's much more successful in that area, right?
Yeah.
So that was for Porsha when she said, "I opened for Tamar Braxton," because she didn't have to say that, but she did. And after that, her baby daddy reached out to her management team. Was very professional. It's nothing. She's basically doing this, honey. It's almost like when Stevie J would pet Jocelyn on the forehead or the nose, like
the nose.
Just you
patronizing. Yeah.
Yes, it was a little patronizing.
Yeah.
Drew did that. Yeah, Drew, we saw you.
And when Porsha really started losing it, it was great. Now that was great TV. When Porsha told her, "Are you crazy?" She said, "Your job is to wear hair." The way Porsha was so tired of Drew.
Wear hair for wow.
Like she was cussing her ass out. So that was some good housewife. And also Shamea was holding court in that scene. Even the way she looked in that beautiful gown and like sitting on that couch and just directing the fucking conversation. Shamea has one of the most beautiful speaking voices I've ever heard in my life. I love listening to Shamea talk. I love listening to her speak. And so watching her, hold court and be like the leader amongst this group, I'm really enjoying it. Really, really enjoying it. That was good TV. That was good Housewives.
And Kelly be popping up. I think I like her.
I like her too. I like what I see so far. She's necessary for the show. I think
little firecracker.
Yeah, she felt human when she was talking about her personal shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like her. And I like the fact that her daughters are spoiled. I like her. I like Kelly. I do.
No,
this show needed all these new girls because they're definitely, it doesn't feel like the old Atlanta Housewives, but it definitely feels like a new show, like a breath of fresh air. And I actually would maybe watch this now more. Well, actually not maybe, I actually will, because I like the new energy. I feel like it was getting stale with the same old, like we're still mad from the 1900s. Like, why are we still mad about old shit? And like at some point it becomes, I think that's what like some people like, lost interest. It got to a point where like, all right, y'all still arguing about something that happened 4 seasons ago, or you're still angry. Like, and then it felt kind of fake. Like people were just doing stuff just to get a scene or whatever. But I like that.
Like Marlo tanked that last season. I don't care what nobody says. That shit that she tried to bring up about Candy and getting a floral arrangement for her deceased relative 2 years later, after they've been talking to each other and around each other, and Marlo just came up with this weird ass shit. All the arguments felt disjointed because of that. Then she was like being real harsh in the things that she would say. Candy fucked everybody. She's a hoe, and just all this weird shit. It was just real negative and unnecessary. And that's the shit that tanked the show to me. So I agree with you. This new iteration of the show feels good. It feels fresh. It still feels familiar enough for us to feel like we understand it, but it's new energy, and I love it so far. That first episode was incredible.
And the original girls, like at this point, they're all my age or older, right? We're like early 50s, mid 50s. And to me, it's like, it's kind of pathetic to still see people like cussing each other out, screaming at the top of their lungs, acting like banshees, just acting a hot ass mess over old shit that really one conversation could probably calm the shit down. So I'm interested to see what the new drama is, the new storylines, the new relationship challenges, the new businesses. Like fresh faces were needed. And before, the way they were doing, I felt like they were just like, it felt like, to use a word, disjointed. Like, you had the OGs and then you throw in 1 or 2 girls, and it was just too unbalanced. Where, and this is from someone that just watches the clips, so I'm missing stuff, but it feels like you're at such a disadvantage as a new girl when you come into the lion's den with all the old girls, the older women, the veterans. You're already at a disadvantage. All right, you're already fighting for your life every time you say something, so you're just trying to get the scene. But like, I feel like the new girls can be more confident because there's many of them on equal footing. They're the majority now. They're the majority over the older girls, so they can kind of run it and kind of create a new, fresh show and narrative. And I think the success of this new season will be resting on the backs of the new girls, I believe.
I hear what you're saying, Claudia, but I don't think so, because like you assimilated just fine into your cast and your season, and you were new by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Stacey,
but I only lasted a season though. They got me out of there
by your choice though. You know what I'm saying? You left.
They wanted me to come back they asked me to come back as a friend of the show. So this is what happened. I lost. So my Ricky Smiley show contract was 1 year. That contract was over. They did not renew. It just really wasn't working. So the same week they asked me they gave me an offer letter to come back as a friend of the show. and which would have been fine, but they couldn't guarantee me a certain the minimum for the day rate was just too low to not give me a minimum amount of days. Like if the day rate, say the day rate's $5,000, right? Okay, what is my minimum for the month? Can I get at least a guarantee of 5 days of work? And they said, we can't give you the guarantee of the days of work. So I could possibly work for 1 day for the whole month, and that would be my entire money. That's it. I had to make myself available for whenever. So that's what it was for me. It was like a financial thing. And they were like, I remember them saying, we can't imagine you not coming back for the season. I go, me neither, because I really enjoyed Bravo and True Entertainment. Like nothing but good things. It was just an economic thing. And then I had another opportunity happen in LA.
But that's my point, though, right? You were a lone soldier going into, a cast that was 6-7 seasons in.
But Dustin, to her point, though, she also had Demetria, who we just saw. But I think what Claudia is making sense is the fact that, and this is obviously at a time, Dustin, too, I was a part of the show. I cannot tell y'all on some real shit how many girls we would film with, and their casting tape was amazing. Dustin, their solo scenes at the house was amazing. There is something, and again, this is at that time, right? So this is seasons 7. This is honestly, the casting got wonky to me, and when I say wonky, I mean difficult to cast. Season 6 through 9, very difficult, right? Is because the moment you put these amazing girls that was on the casting tape, these amazing girls, they solo scene with their husband, their children, when they got around these girls, Dustin, something would happen to them to where they literally would be one or two things: fans and watch television like this, right? And the girls would notice it and say, "She's watching TV, Carlos." Like what? Like she's watching TV, or all that. Right, Claudia? All that. Once they got around those girls.
Yep.
And you were like, you talking shit about old girl. So I do think what Claudia had to me, which is why her and Demetria are still friends, because again, we're missing real friendships, is because although Claudia came in as a friend, and I was championing her, like, no, I think she's the best thing since sliced bread. Give her a chance, please, please. But the powers that be felt like Demetria and Roger Bob's dynamic, right, was fresh. It was interesting. This high-powered producer is with this ingenue of his. He's like this Bengali character, and she's like this, damsel in distress who wants to make it big. And obviously, on paper, that sounds amazing. But it wasn't until you got them all in the same room. And I think Claudia and Demetria are sort of like, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you two bonded because y'all were both like...
We were like, is this shit real? Like when we got to Candy's house and Nene started throwing me shade, but before that we were cool. Like you asked me to host something for you in your place like 3 years prior when you saw me on Celebrity Apprentice and I wasn't even watching the show. I was very confused. I said, wait, are you really being mean to me? Like we have no backstory for you to behave like this. So I was like, wait, what is this real? And I'll be looking at her like, what the fuck is going on here? Like we were like that. I will say, like when the thing about being an actress on the show, Drew, Demetria, Kim Fields, I think it's hard for actresses to really let go and be real because they're used to a script. And they're used to being very contrived, and they're used to working in a framework of this is the role I'm playing, as opposed to someone that is not really an actress like that who's trying to do it now. But like, it is what it is. Like, fuck it. You my good, my bad, my ugly. But actresses are very, maybe I trained to act. Maybe I can't let you always see my real self because I have to think about the next movie I'm trying to get. And I think it's very difficult for actresses on reality TV, as opposed to reality TV starts going into acting. Because they want to control the scene a lot, and they may do things that come off kind of fake. They don't mean to, but they're used to going.
They don't mean to, and I think that's a good thing. They don't mean to. So one quick story, because I know Claudia has to go, but one quick story, and we'll get into the Shamea thing. I produced Hollywood Divas. My company produced it, created it, all those things. And that's a show about 5 Black actresses.
I missed that show, but go ahead.
Oh, it was so iconic. It was so iconic. So Claudia's right. We have 5 actresses. And they would say to us, "Are y'all filming?" And we were like, "We've been filming for 20 minutes. We didn't hear action."
Yep.
And I said, "We would never say action." So the movie said. So Dustin and Claudia, when we would film that show, they would say to us, to make us aware you're filming, can you yell action?
Mm-hmm.
And we would say, "Okay, we already got action." And they'll say,
then they turn it on.
Okay.
Yep.
So she's not lying about that. And we would have to say cut. Not that they were pretending, but Claudia's Dustin, there's something, it was something interesting that it's like this other side of your brain. And my last story is Kim Fields. So obviously I'm obsessed with Kim Fields, obsessed with Regine, obsessed with Tootie, right?
Hell yeah.
So long story short, when our friend, unfortunately, Kenya Moore, pulled her chair, Kim Fields was visibly upset, and as she should be. Kenya has to apologize, so thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, my favorite story, Kim Fields, is this. So we follow her to her room, and I'm like, "You okay?" She said, I need to vent to somebody. I said, "Okay, your husband's upstairs. You want to vent to him?" She said, "No, I want to call Andy Cohen."
What?
I said, "Baby, you can't call Andy Cohen. Why not?" I said, "Andy Cohen does not exist in this world." "Yes, he does. He's producing." I said, "First of all, I know who Andy Cohen is, honey." I said, "What I'm saying to you in the confinements of this show, you can't call Andy Cohen."
On air, on film, she wanted to call Andy Cohen and have a conversation with Andy Cohen about the show.
About what?
The chair incident.
The chair incident. And I said, so I saw that to say it was challenging, Dustin, to like rewire your brain to be like, yes, Andy Cohen does exist in the world, but in this world, in this box,
yeah, Kim Fields never should have been there. I have so much respect for Kim Fields and her legacy and what she continues to do as a director, and you know what I'm saying, producer.
The Upshaws,
she didn't have no business on that couch, on that reunion stage, on that show. She had no business, and you could tell. Don't nobody want to go to no makeupless brunch. Don't nobody want to watch you read a book all the time. Don't nobody want to do all that. And so it was again, word of the day, disjointed. It felt disjointed.
I was irritated from that because I love her as an actress.
Hell yeah.
And she's clearly said, listen, it wasn't for her. It's not her thing, right?
Yes.
That was right after my season, so I couldn't come back because
that sure
I wanted to be to a friend of the show because I wasn't showing a man on the show. Okay. But then you bring someone back that like it was so wrong for her. But I do love her. I do get like how it could have been. Because I think people think the way people are as actresses is going to translate into reality TV. And it's not. Just like if you ever have been friends with a comedian, you're friends with them and they're so funny on stage and they're off the chain. And then a lot of them, they can't go into the reality. Like they in real life, you're disappointed. Because you're like, I expect you to be like Martin Lawrence on stage or whatever on stage. And then in real life, they're not. It's like the acting. You're going by the Regine. She's not Regine. She's Kim Fields.
She's not Regine. Now listen, she gave me a Regine moment. And I was like, oh, Kim Fields. One day, Kim Fields read, not me, because I wasn't there. She read somebody, maybe behind the scenes. And the whole time they were like, can you do that on camera? Because you doing it to me. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. But no. And last thing, Queen Latifah was on Watch What Happens Live years ago. And Andy asked her about Kim Fields being on Housewives. And Queen Latifah said out of her own mouth, yeah, I saw that. Y'all didn't get the real Kim Fields. like Kim Fields. And I saw a glimmer of Kim Fields, baby. And I was like, oh, got it.
Just like Demetria in real life is like that. But on camera,
well, she was in those 5 seconds.
Yes. So that's why the casting tapes can be misleading because they are that. But if you're an actress, I think you're in your head a lot about what you're putting out there. Because you're not really, your goal is not reality TV, your goal is movies. So you're like, okay, I can't do this too much over here. I can't do too much of that because I still need to be right.
Yeah.
Likable.
Demetria was only gonna go so far though. That's how Demetria, you friends with her. Y'all know how Demetria is. She's only gonna go so far with the bullshit. Like there's certain levels of
she want to fight.
Right. Demetria is not. Yeah, she's not going to.
She still don't fuck a Phaedra. She just told me I don't fuck a Phaedra. She don't like Phaedra still today.
Yeah.
And you're friends with her, you know.
I love Demetria's amazing. I was rooting for her too. Okay, our last topic, because I know Claudia has to run and do her job, and Dustin, you do too, because y'all have a busy Monday. Okay, so last story is, and I would love to get your insight on this. Is it lapdog or is it being a friend? So as Drew and Porsha were getting at it, Shamea asked Drew directly, "Are you sleeping with Dennis?" Drew denied it. Okay. Angela Oakley is friends with Drew and she's friends with Shamea. Angela Oakley, even that's why I like her a lot, because she's a real friend. I'm gonna call you out on things that I see as your friend.
Mm-hmm.
They were questioning Shamea's friendship with Porsha as whether or not she is a lapdog. Drew Sidor said that Shamea is Porsha's lapdog, that she speaks for Porsha and does everything she can to defend her based on her questioning whether or not Drew and Dennis were sleeping together. Drew said they weren't, and Dennis also said they're not sleeping together. Okay. Is there a difference between being a supportive friend or being a lapdog? And do you think Shamea is one or the other?
Yes, there's a difference. Now, me personally, I'll ride for mine. So I'm very much a keep our business in the house type of friend. You know what I'm saying? I don't allow people to talk shit about my friends, you know what I'm saying, in my presence. And that's just what it is. So there is a difference between kissing anybody's ass, friend or not, you know what I'm saying, and being a lapdog running up behind somebody. And there's also a perspective where you hold your friends down. And I think that's what we saw with Shamea. It just felt unbalanced because we haven't necessarily seen Porsha do the same for her. And so I think that's what people kind of took issue with. But I don't think Shamea is a lapdog. I think she was being a good friend.
Same. I would like to see, maybe we'll see if there's anything that Porsha needs to come to Shamea's defense for. But when that moment arises, if she doesn't, then absolutely. If she doesn't, that's an unbalanced friendship. But in that moment, I see nothing wrong with that. My friend better ask the questions for me and be just as messy if I'm, I like that. I think even if you weren't Porsha's friend, I think just being in that room, you should have asked that question. That is a valid question, because I want to know if I'm around that type of woman, if I'm around a woman that's like kind of moving like that. I want to know what kind of people I'm around. So I'm going to ask. And as the best friend, even though Porsha was late as hell to your party, you can still act like a best friend to her, because that don't need to change how you behave. You are who you are. And no, I think she was totally within bounds and no violation there. I didn't think she looked weak to ask that question. But moving forward, I would like to see Porsha have Shamea's back just as hard, because definitely Shamea has more than proven herself to be a good friend.
Yeah, and allegedly some things are happening later this season where we will see again how things went awry in their friendship. But Claudia and Dustin, my busy guests, thank y'all so much for coming on tonight. Now, Dustin, you have a show tonight.
Yes.
And Claudia is working too. So once again, let the world know where they can find you, follow you, and support you.
Claudia, ladies first, my love.
Oh, I'm at Claudia Jordan on the Instagram, and gameswomenplay.com. Get your tickets. Our next cities will be LA, Oakland, Detroit. We have Columbus, Ohio. Those are the next few weeks. Really fun. My podcast on Wednesdays with Erica Cobb, Accidentally Informed.
It's really good, by the way, Claudia. I want you, Erica, to know that. I watch all podcasts. It's really good. And I saw you hosting something where Biggie,
Jamal, the actor.
Yeah.
So we did that.
I didn't know that.
It's called the Culture Club. I did it a couple years ago in Atlanta, and the clips are now going viral, where he talked about like kind of preferring a Latina woman over Black women because he doesn't have to do much to be treated like a king, and we're like, you want to do nothing and be treated like a king. Anyways, please check that out, the Culture Club. But very trying to be busy. Movies coming out, but yeah, thank you for all the support, and y'all, your fans have been so nice and so kind. And I've been reading the comments, so thank you for the love. I really been.
They love you, Claudia.
They love you, Claudia.
I love you, both of you. Dustin, tell us about your show. And
City Winery tonight. God is Good. 2 shows, packed house. City Winery. This stand-up comedy one-man show fusion situation that I created. So I'm really excited. We're going to take it to new cities. after this. So stay tuned for those announcements. Y'all can follow me on all my shit at Look at Dustin. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. I'm just excited.
Dustin, you talk so sexy. Like I be catching myself sometimes like, God damn it.
Thank you, friend. You look good too. I love having good looking, successful friends. So I'm happy here.
I be getting caught up on your talk. He be like, so just holla at me. And he got the
I get texts about Dustin.
You get what?
Women and men text me about Dustin all the time.
Oh,
all the time.
That's what's
if
up.
Somebody has a crush on you, Dustin. I'll text you later. It's a friend of mine. He's like, is Dustin single? I said, yes, he's single. And he's like, can you let him know? I think he's fine. I said, I will text him.
Get in line.
And let you know it's okay. No, Dustin. So Dustin's gonna have a hot boy spring and summer. Hey, Sheree. So raindrops. I'm dropping a one-on-one interview tomorrow at noon.
Yes.
So make sure you guys tune into that. So one-on-one interview with somebody that I have a crush on. So make sure you watch it. Yeah.
Is it your new boyfriend?
Anyways, Claudia, I love you. Dustin, I love you more. And I will see you guys.
Love you, Claudia. All right.
On the next one.
Bye.